Everybody, this is Money Mom. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk all about food waste. Let's get started. I think this is an important discussion to have within the frugal community because if we want to save money, one of the biggest ways that we're throwing money out the window is by food that we don't eat. We either can eat it or not purchase it. That being said, I'm going to tell you some of the reasons that I know I've wasted food, and I wanted to kind of do a fun challenge at the end. So the first thing that I've noticed about myself is I like things that are convenient because I want something fast and easy. And if something's going to take a lot of time to prepare, for example, let's say potatoes, it can end up sitting there. So that would be something, if you like convenience foods and you're not going to prepare something, it might be better just to buy the convenience foods that are already prepared for you than buying things that you actually have to take time to cook and you never get around to doing it. So that would be number one. People like things that are fast and easy. They buy things that they think they're going to get around to preparing and they never do. Number two, this is a huge one. This has been spoken about a lot. We don't actually buy what we're going to eat and what our family loves. Yes, it's great to try new things. And a great example, I'm not a huge fan. I will eat it. I'm not a huge fan of ground turkey. Now, I know you can disguise it in sauces and things. I would rather use ground beef. So for me, what I do is I buy ground beef, but I'm using half of what I used to. So that's kind of what I do. And I also look for it on clearance. So buy what you know your family's going to use and need, because if you're out there buying things that your family's not a fan of just to save money, I personally think for myself, from my own experience, it can end up wasting money. Number three, this is a huge one, buying too much of anything and not using it. The biggest waste of money, they say in families' homes, is produce we don't use. Example, these apples are perfectly good and I am going to eat them. But what I've noticed about this type of thing is some folks that only have a couple people, they'll buy this great big huge bag of apples and then half of them they end up throwing away. You may want to buy, even if it costs a little bit more, singles. So maybe for potatoes, instead of buying a bag, maybe buying one or two. And not just this could be anything, especially condiments. People will buy a great big jar of something, but maybe they only use part of it. So this is something to think about, is are we buying too much of something? So that, and especially produce, I would say definitely. Also, this one I've been the most guilty of in the past, buying a bunch of ingredients just for one recipe. I remember years ago, I wanted to make some gluten-free cookies, and I think I spent $17 on ingredients just to try something. Nobody liked the cookies, and I don't remember what happened to the ingredients. That's why many frugal people fix simpler things and use what they have at home. Also, number five, hidden away. I know it's really easy to have things hidden in your back of your pantry. That's why it's so important, I think, to periodically, and I do it once a week, to look through and see what you have. And I'm going to give you an example. I've got some granola bars in the back that are getting older. They're not expired, but maybe if you see no one's eating them, maybe make that as part of a side dish for a meal. Just really getting to know what's in your refrigerator, freezer, and pantry. I know that sometimes I forget about things and they get tucked away, out of sight, out of mind. And this is something I definitely can improve on. Number six, misunderstood expiration dates. I think that's really important. Many times people will say, well, this yogurt expired yesterday, and they won't eat it. What I do is I do the smell test and then I look at it. Most of the time, everything's perfectly fine. So that is something that we can do. I know that there's all sorts of ways that we can improve on these things. We've heard this before. Use your freezer as your friend. Share what you have for others. Maybe simply buy less. I do think stockpiling for emergencies is fantastic, but I do think that people may overdo it, especially a small family or a single person, and they may end up with so much. Now, if you can donate it, that's great, but we don't want to waste or have to throw out things. Last week, I had to throw out an orange, and I know it sounds like it's just one orange, but that really bothered me, that I didn't eat it quicker. Now, one thing that I'm going to be making today is some peach bread. It calls for cream cheese. This cream cheese will expire very soon, so I want to make sure to use it. So this is something that I'm really working on, is buying less at the store. And last week, I'm going to tell you, I only spent $75 on groceries. I normally spend about $120. It's because I'm really working on using what I have at home, which does take time because it does take me to do more cooking in the kitchen. I want to ask you guys, do any of you waste any food at all? And if so, what do you want to do to improve it in your life? for me, more scratch cooking and being more mindful of what I buy at the stores and asking myself, is this something my family's going to eat? So that's what I'm going to do. I want to know how you're going to improve food waste in your life. Would you like to take the challenge with me and do more cooking and prepping to alleviate less food waste in your life? Let me know what you think. I love you. I appreciate you. And like I always say, I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.